Good morning. We are taking a dive into my DMs today, and I got a really great question come through yesterday. So this person has said, please keep anonymous, always. At the moment, I'm a fairly new area manager after being a manager for 3 years. I've always had issues with a certain 2 employees who are extremely manipulative and who are also best friends. And I find when I pull them for difficult conversations, this is the bit that I find really interesting. I find that when I pull them for their difficult conversations, so when she's giving them feedback or performance review or whatever it is, I end up feeling like I've done something wrong and second guess myself. Any content would be massively appreciated. So, I'm smiling, not because this is a nice situation to be in, but I'm smiling because I've been in this situation so many times, and it gets really damaging when that prevents you then from having those difficult conversations, because you're almost scared of your team. And like, we've all been there, especially when people are older than you, potentially more confrontational than you are, a bit maybe more confident. One of the fears that I had, and probably still do hold a little bit of, was people who were really articulate. So I always felt that, like, I was never a very articulate person. You know how people like Stephen Bartlett articulate things so beautifully when they speak, and they know all these big words, and their sentences just seem to perfectly form. Whereas I don't think my brain works quite that fast, or just that I can't, when the words come out of my mouth, I can't string the sentences together, or maybe I've just not practiced speaking as much, who knows. But that was one of my biggest fears, was like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't get it across in the way that I want to say it. And so the conversation ends up me leaving thinking, oh, was I just really mean? Or, oh yeah, they haven't really done anything wrong. How have I got that so wrong as a manager? And so the reason I was smiling is because I completely resonate with this. And a few years back, I got some advice from a mentor who really helped me to kind of see what needs to happen in those situations, no matter if you aren't good at articulating things like I wasn't, or if you aren't sure if you're right, or if there has been a situation in the past where maybe this person's really confident and you're a bit scared of them in the past. And so it's just kind of what to do in those moments and how to feel and what to remind yourself of. So there's a couple of things I want to run through. Firstly, this is why when we talk about having difficult conversations, and the first step in the difficult conversation process, and I'm going back to my blog, I've got a full blog post on this, I will link it in the description comments. When I say that the time is now to have difficult conversations and do it in the moment, this is why it's so important. Because if you wait till the next performance review, the next appraisal, the next one-to-one, or even if you're just a little bit fearful in the moment and so you think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it at the end of the week, or I'll do it on Monday morning, I'll leave it for the weekend, I'll do it on Monday morning. When you do that, it becomes so much more difficult for both people to remember fully what's happened. And you can so easily gaslight yourself or them gaslight you. And to me, the definition of gaslighting is like when you know something happened or you feel a certain way and the other person makes you feel as though you're crazy for feeling that feeling. And so they can gaslight you, or you can even gaslight yourself into thinking, was it that bad? Am I just like going a bit crazy? Am I just being a bit of a micromanager? Am I just being a bit too, like on top of people? Should I just let it go? Was it really that bad? So we have to do these things in the moment, and this is why it's so important, because in the moment is the only true reflection of how deep the feelings are, how difficult the situation was, and for people to have as much memory recollection accurately, some words there, accurate memory reflection of the situation that's just happened. So that's why doing it in the moment is so important. But here's the crux of this that I didn't know until I'd had this conversation with a mentor of mine, which was when we have these difficult conversations, we can quite often convince ourselves that just because we don't have a solid list of actions or evidence, like screenshots of things they've said or exact things that they've said or done or emails or whatever it may be, we convince ourselves that we can't have that conversation. But actually, feelings are valid as well. So even if you don't have full list of action screenshots of every single little tiny time that this person has potentially done something wrong, it is more than enough to talk about how it made you feel. And so I'm going to just read you a bit of an excerpt from my blog post, which is, explain how you were made to feel by what they did or are doing. Managers often get hung up on having to prove why we feel a certain way. But simply telling someone how they've made you feel is enough. Feelings are valid too. And we often hold ourselves back from We often hold ourselves back from having these conversations because we're worried that the person on the receiving end will say something like, but what did I do? Or like, can you prove it, but maybe just not in those words? Or them arguing about their actions, saying, well, I don't think it happened that way. And we can't give them a full list and proof so we won't get caught out. And that is like almost imposter syndrome edging in as well, is feeling like, what if they catch me out? What if they catch me out for not being a good enough manager because I don't have the full list of proof? So this is your reminder that feelings alone are enough to open up a conversation. And if someone responds to you with, well, I need you to tell me what I did because I can't, that's not how I feel about it, it is enough for you to say, well, I don't actually have a solid hard proof, but the way that you made me feel was sad, upset, fearful, annoyance, like angry. And if you made me feel that way, there's a chance you've made other people feel that way. And I just want to communicate that to you. And you can try and prove me wrong if you want to right now, but I need you to know that that's how you made me feel in the moment, and nothing will get rid of that feeling. And I just, when I've posted about this before online, it's always kind of nestled within a difficult conversation process with like feelings, behaviour, impact. So it's always never the main topic of the video. But people, and it's usually men, and I think it's because men struggle to talk about feelings as much. Women do it as well, but mainly men will comment on that video or LinkedIn post or whatever it may be, saying something like, but why do we need to get so deep and personal when we're just giving someone feedback? Like, why do we need to get so much into feelings? And it's because actions and behaviours can often be like argued and proven away, and people have different opinions of what happened, but no one can argue with how you feel, and they shouldn't be able to. If they try and argue with how it made you feel, then that's gaslighting. But so I would just go back to the phrase, you might have that view of what happened, but I just need you to know this is how you made me feel. And then in order for a difficult conversation to be successful, ideally, we want list of actions, we want to tell them what the impact will be. But this is just your reminder that feelings are enough on their own to open up that conversation. And if someone starts to challenge you regularly, well, I don't think it happened like that, or be manipulative, gaslight, whatever it is, you can go back to feelings and just say very clearly, well, you made me feel like this. You made me feel upset. What you said hurt me, or even if you have to advocate for someone else in the team, like what you've said upset them, and you can't argue that away. So we need to speak about that instead of you arguing about the exact words that you used when having a conversation. And I just put a little kind of thing on the end here, a little bonus, which is, I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I've been speaking to some coaching clients about this exact scenario. When you have difficult conversations, it will go one of two ways. And I don't know if you've ever seen like the all-bed, my SD card's telling me I've got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to have to be fast. If you've seen the all-bed, above the line, below the line thinking, people will drop into below the line or above the line thinking when you have these difficult conversations. And above the line is ownership, acceptance, responsibility. So that's kind of when they go, shit, I need to do something about this. And that's okay. If someone makes a mistake, if you have to have a difficult conversation, and maybe there's not a solution in the moment, but they accept that what they've done has upset someone else, or they need to do something about it, or they fall below the line, which is blame, excuses, denial. and that's when we've got a bigger problem. Okay, I'm gonna have to go because my SD card's gonna run out. Bye.